We're having a concert, ladies and gentlemen. I would proudly like to present to you La Gente de Lowrider Ball number 4. Give yourself a hand. Yay! Woo! 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 Woo!
Lowriders are happening. Lowriders are here. Lowriders are happening. Lowriders are here. And they're here to stay. All across the nation, just a happening sensation. It's an art with style, not just here for a while. Brown, white, and black, wherever you're at, they stand out in the scene in their battle machine. You all know it's your time. It's your time to shine, 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 shine. You and your car, wherever you are, you a star. It's just like the show, yeah. Wherever you go, brothers and sisters in the scene, each caring about the other. You know what we mean. Just dialing down, low, riding round your bad low machine. Low riders are happening, happening, yeah. Low riders are here. Low riders are happening, happening. Low riders are here. From down in LA, hey, hey, up to San Jose. In every town, you know, I'm talking about your mainstream. Look around. In the park, wherever they meet, clubs and individuals, just styling down a low, right around in their bad low machine. Lowriders are happening, happening. Lowriders are here. Lowriders are happening, happening. Lowriders are here. They stop us in our rides, say your car's too low. Yes, officer, this is our show. We work so hard, please consider that. We paid our way, and today we have this bad low-riding machine. Just dialing down, low-riding round in my low machine. Low-riders are intelligent, they know just how to shine. No more drugs or crime, just enter my low ride. It's in our pride, we have nothing to hide. No, it's the pride that you feel in our family, in my camaradas, in my low ride. Just dial it down, low, ride it round. Lowriders are happening, happening, yeah. Lowriders are here and they're here to stay. Lowriders are happening, happening. Lowriders are here. Lowriders are winners and they're here to stay. Lowriders are numero uno. That means number one each and every day in every way. Check them out! They're here today. Check them out! They're here to stay. Lowriders are winners in every way. Just dialing down, low, riding round in your bad low machine. Lowriders are happening, happening, yeah. Lowriders are here, here, everywhere. Lowriders are happening, happening. Lowriders are here, and they're here to stay. Lowriders are happening, happening, yeah. Lowriders are here. Lowriders are happening, happening, yeah. Lowriders are here. All right, I'll let you go this time because you're with my daughter. Hey.
All right.
Like we said a little while ago, we promised a few people here that we were going to do a certain song for them. And it does have to be one of our favorites. And it's one of our favorites because it brought in a whole hell of a lot of money, you know. And not only for this young lady and this one and all the rest, but we want to dedicate this to all the wonderful and beautiful people in and around San Jose, California.
As the wind blows, I sit here wondering if you're still in love with me. It's kind of funny, I know, because you do love me so. We have something very special. But we must keep our happiness together, me and you. You got that Girl, you've got to listen to what I say. As the wind blows, our love should last forever. And as the wind blows, you and I should stay together. You got that style with me here. You're the one for me. And thank you. Here we go. Doing it to ya. Do it. We're gonna do it to ya. Listen to the song, it's made to make you move. So come on, everybody, get down and groove. It's up to you to move. Do it. We're gonna do it to ya. Look at here, fellas, all these lovely girls. They're dressed so fine with their hair in curls. Let's take them to the floor. That's what they came here for. We'll dance all night till we can't anymore. Grab yourself a bundle, go out and have some fun. Don't stop till we're done. This is your last chance to get up and dance. So do it, treat it like a romance. Do it all you got. Don't say it's too hard to stop. It's up to you to move. Do it. We're gonna do it to ya. Say, listen to the song, it's made to make you move. So come on, everybody, get down and groove. It's up to you to move. Do it. We're gonna do it to ya. Look at here, fellas, all these lovely girls. They're dressed so fine with their hair in curls. Let's take them to the floor. That's what they came here for. We'll dance all night till we can't anymore. It's up to you to move. Thank you. you can know. Yeah, is to live your life and take it slow. One day at a time. That's how we make it. Hey! One day at a time.
For example, our zoot suit issue. You see the old zoot suits, and you know what a zoot suit is. And they say, wow, this magazine should have been out 40, 50 years ago, because it really tells you the way it is, the way the raza, their culture, it's expressed through the magazine. El nuestro, which is, but when you get down to the barrio, there's nobody communicating with them. There was a vacuum there. And Lowrider filled it, and now there's other ones, the other magazines that are popping up now, like Cuba or Lowriders are happy.
Well, this week is a lot more home.
Pardon me?
This week is a lot more home.
Yes, it's, oh, you did, huh? Okay, it's Alberto. Guess you figured that out. 2100.
Okay, I'm
And
gonna
that's
need
for
to talk-
EOP department.
EOP, and his name is.
Alan Hernandez.
Okay.
He also does a TV show for, radio show for KFRC.
Okay, why don't can I call you tonight and get.
Washing up my ride, waxing down my ride off for the car show. Shining mattress spokes, rolling up some tokes off for the car show. Party with my homies out there. I'll get down and get crazy out there. I'm gonna have one hell of a time. I'm gonna get on down and party to the sounds of the car show. Partying at the car show. Getting down at the car show. Checking out the car show. The people that are there, they'll be from everywhere, all at the car show. They'll bring their real fine cars, but we'll all be the stars at the car show. It's happening all over Aztlan. Lowriders are together as one, cruising and just having some fun. Come on, jump in your ride and join the happening at the car show. Getting crazy at the car show. Checking out the lovelies at the car show. Órale chula, you're mine at the car show. Washing down my ride, waxing down my ride all at the car show. Shining mattress spokes, rolling up some totes up for the car show. Hey, it's happening all over Aztlan. Lowriders are together as one, cruising and just having some fun. Come on, jump in your ride and join the happening at the car show. It's all
and Saturday nights, San Jose's King and Story Roads area resembles a war zone, with police lined up on one side and kids on the other. The youth, mostly Chicano, say they come to socialize, to cruise in their cars, to have a good time with their friends. The police say the kids pelt them with rocks and bottles. Neighbors complain of fights and loud music. Merchants say their businesses are often vandalized and looted. The King and Story area is described as the site of a massive public party on weekends, sometimes lasting until 5 a.m. That party is often interrupted by police barricades, violence, sirens, and arrests. In the past, the crowds mostly consisted of lowriders, cruising the boulevard in their cars. According to the police, the crowds are getting younger and younger.
Yeah, my mom would get mad. I'm 19.
You know what?
Huh?
Okay, would you rather be someplace else and not here?
Where I say? Where can we stay without being bugged at? I say.
Everybody comes over here to meet her.
Everybody else to make friends. Putting her down. My mom doesn't get mad. She cares, but she won't get mad.
How old are you?
How old?
All right, Karen, get in
What?
it.
No. You know you want to get in it.
What's the reason?
To party.
To meet people. Party, man.
I mean,
Go to be 17.
they okay with you out here or not? She cares, but she doesn't want.
Who? She cares, but I come out here anyway.
Yeah. He's asking questions. How come we're all out here?
Yeah, she tells me not to, but I go out anyway.
When are we going to be on TV?
We're out here to party and see all our friends and watch all the cars go by. Check
Your
out the
parents
rides.
know where you are?
Huh? Yeah.
Do they say anything?
Nah, they said it's right. Sent them out.
They don't care? What about you? Do your parents know where you're at?
Yes.
And what do they say?
That's right. Cool. Stay out of fights and shit.
How old are you?
14.
What do you mean? There's no...
The city of San Jose has long been trying to rid itself of the youth gatherings at King and Story Roads on weekends. The kids complain of a severe lack of recreational facilities on the east side and say simply that there is no place else for them to go.
There's nothing else to do.
What do you mean there's nothing else to do?
Yeah, it's, it's a place to, just party, friends, drink, make new friends, east side, everything like that.
Tell me, why are you out here?
I'm out here just to have a good time and cruise, man.
You do this all the time?
Yeah, just about every weekend. Once a weekend,
How come you guys don't go someplace else? Why Story and King?
Well, if we go to a park, they chase everybody away. And if we go, like to a parking lot, they still chase everybody away. Billy club them and everything. But out here, it's going to be harder for them to get us, so we're just out here to have a good time,
So you don't feel like you're doing anything wrong, right?
Do you see anything wrong right now? Nothing. Everybody's having a good time, man.
Sweeping the street.
That's the only time I see it.
What about the merchants?
Well, they're never out there at night, so we're really not taking away their business. And I heard that guy at Windshields likes it, likes everybody being around, because they give him business or something, But he don't want nobody touching them on the property. So, some merchants like it, and I guess some don't. Okay?
We come out here to cruise, because we don't got nothing else to do, We go to the parks and they kick us out of the parks, So we try to find somewhere to go. I guess it's the only place we could have to go to, They harass us, they want us to move it, get out of the parking lots and all that,
Are you guys doing anything wrong out here?
Well, not really, we're just cruising, Just minding our own business, just driving around, talking to people, meeting our friends out here and everything.
Do you feel like there's any injustice out here?
Well, maybe they're a little bit too hard on us, because we don't do nothing to them, and they just come and they start.
Attention all units, be on the lookout for a black Harley chopper, California license 9 Henry 4556. Wanted for $4,800.
All right, what you doing?
What are the problems that you have out here?
Well, the problems exist, but if they don't leave, then we have to take some type of enforcement action to clear the lots. And in those situations, sometimes arrests are made. Not unusual at all for us to confiscate a number of firearms as well as a number of knives. Last weekend there were 2 handguns, and I believe one weapon is called an M14, which is a semi-automatic rifle with loaded banana clips. The weekend before that it was a sawed-off shotgun, which was about 18 inches long, and there have been a number of handguns that have been confiscated normally every weekend. And it also attracts a lot of younger people from 12 to 18 years old, the individuals that don't have vehicles, the young youth groups, and they tend to congregate in the same area because they're attracted, by the fancy vehicles and the lowriders. And generally it's been our experience throughout this summer that it's the younger element that causes most of the problems as far as the gang violence amongst themselves.
Intent was a traffic violation. Last observed northbound on Highway 1. Proceed with caution.
I cannot condone anywhere for any kids, whether they be high riders or low riders, to sit out in public drinking, smoking pot, having sex, and raising hell, destroying buildings and property. No, I can't condone that. I've seen kids sneak up on officers and douse them with beer, cokes, throw hamburgers at them, pelt them with bottles, throw bottles underneath wheels of the automobiles that the police do operate. I've seen them throw stuff into the automobiles, and it amazes me the fact that these officers have the patience they do. I've been out there when a truck driver unloading gas at 1:30 at night was mugged and beat up. They won't deliver gas anymore out there. I've been out there the night that they knifed and killed a gas station attendant. I was out there the night they picked up an attendant and threw him through a window. I was out there the night where a bunch of them, because it got so rough at Jack in the Box, they decided to close down for an hour or so, where the kids picked up beer bottles and threw them through the window and cut up the manager and the assistant manager. Would they like if I came up to one of their beautiful cars and took a spray can and sprayed the side of their car, or I smashed in one of their windows, or I opened the door and went in and urinated in their car? Would they like that? No, they wouldn't. So why are they doing it to our properties?
individual members who will commit crimes, as in any group. Of these 14, there's still only one group. This group is located in the Seven Trees area of San Jose. What we have found out is that a lot of these kids are joining groups to find with. And these groups we have found are group, based on a gang. Most of the members of the different groups have told us that they do not want.
Well, we've identified approximately 14 youth groups so far within the city of San Jose.
How old are these kids?
The kids range in age from 11 or 12 years old on up into their early 20s.
In Los Angeles, they've had a tremendous amount of homicides, for example, about 175 or so a year attributed to gangs.
The trend is drifting north towards San Jose and San Francisco. We're getting a lot of the styles, a lot of the gang type of activities and so forth that were originating down in Los Angeles. We've even borrowed from some of the Los Angeles gang names. Some of the kids who go in institutions down in Los Angeles or who have resided in Los Angeles area bring this information up to our community.
Often the proliferation of more sophisticated weapons, such as shotguns and things like this, find their way to youth gangs, not because young people are just easily obtaining them, but they are being brought in to the young people by groups like this.
Groups like prison
like
gangs?
the prison gangs.
People say gangs, but I feel there is no gangs. I feel there are a lot of clubs. There's a lot of barrio clubs, a lot of little cliques, but actually they are not gangs like, let's say, maybe in LA, but here they are not. They are just a group of kids. They're like social clubs.
That we really feel very, together in a sense where we're trying to build unity within the different terms. Starting from north from south, you have Barrio Vicky Town, one of the biggest barrios that right now happen to develop going north, you have Barrio Foothills. Then you're going back from east to west, you have Seco. Then going and in San Jose, they have two different areas of Vicky Town. They have a south side Vicky Town and they have an east side Vicky Town. Then you have going down Pleasant area.
Oh, what? Don't laugh with me. You're gonna be on TV.
In the kitchen, Mom. In the kitchen.
Where do you work at?
Hi, come in.
Just
you know, creating little ripples, you know, and then you say, why, you know, and then you look at it and you see, hey, yeah, there is a need, you know. If there is a need, most of our older folks, you know, the grandparents, they've always said, hey, you know, no se puede hacer nada, so, you know, leave it alone, you know, you can't do nothing.
Barrio this or barrio that, that in fact has a whole name, and as there is in fact a people.
The small geographical groupings or the cliques that we have established now, you know, in the San Jose area.
How did you get interested in this? Oh, just your juvenile probation?
Yeah, I actually represent the juvenile probation department, and at the present time I'm with the it signifies the Mexican mafia, and then you have the Vadio horseshoe, you know.
Okay, why don't you just give us a quick description?
Last time we were here, you knew all about Vickystown. Huh? I didn't know that. Back to work. That's typical response.
Here.
The graffiti on the walls here that you see signify maybe 2 or 3 of the active groupings or gangs that are located in this specific area. As you notice on the wall,
people want to have an escape, you know, somewhere to go and maybe get rid of their problems or, you know, have a good time. If we had a place to go and maybe be more freer, it'd probably be all right, you know. Probably less things would happen.
Well, I don't know, man. There's few people recovering from the last walk, which just happened Saturday, so I don't know if we want to go that route yet. Pero, me myself personally, I'm still tired.
Now your friends aren't my friends. You don't know who I know. And how can I be with you? Oh, baby, when you don't know where I go. When, baby, we meet, there'll be no something that'll drive me.
It is the history and legends of Mexico back to the earliest times, and it's spray-painted on a supermarket in the barrio in San Jose, California. It's a reminder to the Mexican Americans who live here of their past, their heritage. It is bright, and it is bold, and it's there for all to see. There's a lot of bright, bold art in this barrio. It's just not the kind you would expect. It is a full-size car with undersized tires. As often as not, it has a custom paint job, and it always has a tiny steering wheel, often welded chain. And its owner is Mexican-American. With hydraulic lifts, he can make the front end go up in the air. And as far as that goes, by using the hydraulic controls inside the car, he can make the front end go down far enough that it scrapes the roadway. The car is called a lowrider or a ride. It can have lifts just in front or all around. A fancy lowrider is called a bad ride and is the pride of the California Chicano who owns it. He'll do anything to make it the best bad ride around. The east side of San California is a barrio. There are 600,000 people in San Jose, and 22% of them are Chicano. All but a handful live on the east side. San Jose has always had a large Mexican-American community. Originally, they came to work on the farms. Now they work, when there is work, in construction or industrial plants. And they have made San Jose the low-riding capital of Northern California. The term lowrider refers to the car and the driver, and there is nothing a lowrider wants more than for his bad ride to be noticed and admired. For the last 18 months, lowriders have had their own magazine, published from a small office just off the San Jose State campus. Called Lowrider, it has a circulation of 30,000, and that is going up. The editor is Sonny Madrid.
In the U.S., it's supposed to be like a melting pot, and so everybody just blends in, right? Well, like with the Chicano community, and probably with Mexico being so close, it hasn't really been that way. They've kind of tried to, they create their own style, their own fashion. Who lowers their cars but Mexicans? Who paints their cars the way with all the flashy paint jobs but, you know, the young Chicano? Like where the style all come from, I blame the Indians. I blame the Mayas, the Aztecas. They were the very first Pachucos. They were the first lowriders. In those days, they customized their bodies, and like nowadays, they're customizing their cars.
Lowriders have been around since after World War II. But they are just beginning to organize into clubs, and the clubs are just beginning to organize what they call happenings, like this one in Los Angeles. Lowrider clubs are usually rivals, but they have been talked into cooperating by other Chicanos who can't see any sense in fighting among themselves. After all, they share the same memories. Dennis Eagleson.
I remember I used to stay many nights outside of my mom's house or outside of one of the boulevards in the neighborhood and just look at cars going by and kind of make believe in my mind that that's my next car coming here. This is my car. Of course, I didn't have a job. I didn't have the money to finance a car, but I always kept my mind occupied on the status symbol of a shiny automobile. What I'm trying to do is to create a feeling of, hey, pride, like, hey, I have my car here. Why not? You know, I have a group of guys I'm with. Why not? Why not dress the zoot suit part, you know?
Lowriding is not a teenage fad. It is a Chicano social event involving men and women of all ages. Families go for lowrider picnics and Sunday afternoon drives, caravans of them, all of them going, as they describe it, low and slow, so they'll be noticed and admired. Lowriders have their own music. A classic among them is titled, Let's Take a Cruise Down Whittier Boulevard. It was written and recorded by Willie G. He used to be a mechanic. He is now a musician who, some years ago, had a national hit called Land of a Thousand Dances. Willie G., complete to zoot suit, is a lowrider, and he says music led to lowriding.
That's what started me in it, music. And the people around it, where the action was. They kept this display of moving art on the road, constantly, everywhere. There was a place where people could come together and get it together, admire each other, so to speak, and say, yeah, man, I want to be like that. I want to do that. I want to have that before I have to leave.
Along with its own music, lowriding has its own art. These were done by Teen Angel, a lowrider in San Jose. But lowriding is not all aesthetics. A considerable part of it is economics. But like the music and the art, the economics are somewhat different.
The economics dictate just what kind of a lowrider you're going to be. And so you do that, but now there's like a reverse going on in that it's a very in-fashionable thing to get the old car.
If you're the usual car owner, these cars may look like junk to you, something you'd pay somebody $25 just to tow away. You shouldn't do that. This is a 1950 Ford. It was running when Joe Limones bought it for about $400. Now he's making a low rider out of it, and when he's through, it will sell for not quite 3 times what it was worth when it was sold brand new. And it was sold brand new for $1,539.86. Joe got it from the original owner, complete with owner's manual and sales invoice. However much it costs, buying the car can be the cheap part.
This dash here is going to be ripped off right here. We're going to install a television in here, but make all this blend down with padding all the way down to the floor, make it look like one piece. You won't see no metal in here. The whole interior is going to be what you call a custom job to the max. Something like this, I would say it'd run close to $3,000.
The $3,000 is for the inside. A custom paint job on the outside, a good one, will cost another $1,600. And to repair a scratch could cost $600. Then there are the hydraulic lifts. You can't have a bad ride without them, preferably all around.
We're going to start out with the pump. That's the main part of the setup. Lifting all the way around, there's going to need 2 of these. Pumps run about 130 each, and they're used to pump the fluid into the car. Then you need your cylinders. Take 4 of them for all the way around. If you come in and buy the whole complete setup, you have a real sweet deal. If you come in and buy piece by piece, you know, you're going to be spending like right around $1,000 for front and back.
Naturally, the majority of the people, they don't have very customized car to the max. They just got probably a chain steering wheel. Even though maybe they don't have all the accessories and they can't afford the elaborate paint job, the upholstery, but that's enough to identify.
But old ride or new ride, you've all got these little tiny steering wheels.
Yeah. They're easier to handle.
Simon Perez bought his '54 Chevy for $300 and has spent $1,500 more on it. Not all bad rides are designed to be driven low and slow. Some are designed for the lowrider's favorite sport, hopping. Earlier this year, the staff of Lowrider magazine, neighbors, friends, and the curious watched a hopping test. The car has a permanently raised rear end, so when it travels on the road, it goes by truck, but it does have an engine. Engines don't play much of a part in lowriding anyway, but they don't count at all in hopping. Ralphie Douglas, whose brother owns a hydraulic shop, knows what does count, bouncing the front end in the air. Using the front end hydraulic lifts, the object is to get the front wheel as high off the ground as possible. Ralphie's goes high enough that 1 week after this test, he won $3,300 by duplicating this feat, standing the car on its rear bumper.
Come on, Ralph. Sit it down, sit it down. Go ahead. Ralph, sit it down. Come on.
At least once a week, usually Saturday afternoon, lowriders go to a do-it-yourself car wash, crank up the music, and clean up the cars. There are probably no cleaner automobiles anywhere in the country. After all, if you're going low and slow on Saturday night, other people may notice you, but they won't admire a dirty car.
Whatever they do, washing the cars or cruising the streets, lowriders do together, and that causes problems. Motorists complain that they block traffic. Shopping center owners say they congregate on the parking lots at night, leaving trash and disorder behind. The lowrider clubs admit that there has been trouble. On the other hand, they say, no one has ever given them a chance to do it right. The events the car clubs do organize usually go off without a hitch. This disco party in San Jose was sponsored by the Chicanos Pride Car Club. The members all came in their lowriders, many of the men in zoot suits. Vince Chavez, president of the club. It was a good night for him. His club's dance was a success, and he was wearing his first suit.
I was broke, and I sold some hubcaps for $5, and that's how I ended up getting a suit. And the pants and jacket was $1.25, and the tie was 35 cents, you know, so I made out all right, you know. Had it looking pretty good. It looked like a $50 suit. You know, I was pretty proud of the first suit I ever had in my life. You know, I've been low riding since I guess I was about 16 when I got my first car. With it, you know, with your ride, that's your identity. That's how people know you. You could be anywhere. A lot of people don't have jobs, or they don't have the money, you know, to be going skiing, or you try to, you know, do one thing, and a lot of people, especially Chicanos, they get into their cars. You know, it's pretty nice. You have your car, that's your ride. When you go out, you know, that's what you call, that's your pride.